Do you like playing with balls? No, I'm not talking about footballs. I mean your balls. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million men worldwide trust them, so join the movement with our exclusive offer by using code DTR at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping.
Stafford under pressure, going to tuck it, and he's in! Darrell Henderson, he's off and running! As Woods, touchdown! Cooper Kupp just went up and took it away.
Van Jefferson for the touchdown.
Aaron Donald smothers him. Jalen Ramsey put the pop on. Sacked by Leonard Floyd, having a day again.
Darius Williams with a diving hit. Jordan Fuller comes up with his second interception of the night.
The NFL season is here. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity like BetUS. You may already know this, but BetUS has been pioneers in the sportsbook industry for almost 3 decades, thriving and paying their loyal customer base. That is betus.com, and they have loads of bonuses. Join now or call 800-69-BET-US. That's 800-MY-BET-US. You receive a 125% sign-up bonus by using bonus code RAMS125. They have re-up and referral bonuses also. BetUS is known as America's favorite sportsbook for a lot of reasons. BetUS has all your NFL games with team and player props and loads of futures. You can bet UFC matches, props, PGA golf, round matchups, and live betting on most sports as well. The online casino has hundreds of games, and the racebook has all your horse tracks. They have every bet type imaginable, and the sharp BetUS mobile platform is easy with full betting options. Follow my lead and get your phone, online, and social sports betting partner with integrity and longevity like I did. BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.
All right, guys, welcome back. Downtown Rams podcast, episode 374 is underway. Although I am without my co-host Alexis Kraft, she will be back for the next episode. At the moment, she doesn't have a voice. So you and I are going to have to get through this without her. She'll be back the next time. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, if you do like it, and be sure to share it. You know, word of mouth is huge. If you like this, be sure to tell somebody you like it. Downtown Rams has only grown that way, and we've been very thankful to grow that way. So be sure to do that. Just also want to let you guys know that Alexis will be back the next episode, and we'll be having Zach Hicks, the lead analyst for the Colts on Sports Illustrated. Zach's a friend of ours, so it's going to be fun to have him on. Met him back in Mobile, Alabama, covering the Senior Bowl, so it's going to be a lot of fun to have Zach on. We can't wait to preview the Rams and Colts game with him, but let's dive into it. This is the Rams and Bears post-game podcast. And those of you who follow me, you know that I've covered this via live stream on my channel, my YouTube channel, as well as other, avenues of content. I just put out a Brian Allen video. So if you guys haven't already, definitely go and check that out. Basically just took all the clips that, each play, each snap he played, and, just went through that, dissected it, and yeah, that's pretty much that. So let's dive in. The Rams really beat the crap out of the Bears. I'm going to be honest with you. While I expected it, it's just different when you see it in person. And I was super impressed with the way, Matthew Stafford was flawless, having just one of the best quarterback performances we've seen in quite some time. Just getting the ball to whoever's open, even if they weren't open. He made an incredible bunch of throws in this game. Just what he was able to do was outstanding. And it goes to show you why I've been saying, all along this was the right move. I love this move. I stuck by this move. And furthermore, why I believe he is an MVP favorite. Not just a candidate. I think he's a favorite, with Sean McVay and the Rams offense. And, of course, that defense that's going to keep him in the lead, winning games, which, of course, MVP, voters love those wins. So success is big. That's definitely something to consider. And so I will say that. But The offense was not a shock to me. I do feel like there's a lot left in the tank. I still feel like they have a lot of, room for improvement. And let's be honest here, I'm really curious to see, Sony Michel and how he gets implemented in the office. I'm curious to see more Van Jefferson. He played 69% of snaps. Curious to see more of Deshaun Jackson, who only played 27%. You had Tutu Atwell coming in with 4%. You had Johnny Munn only at 29%. There's a lot of different things that they can do. The guys that played the entire game, all 52 snaps, Andrew Whitworth, Rob Havenstein, David Edwards, Brian Allen, Austin Corbett, and then Tyler Higbee and Matthew Stafford. But aside from that, everyone else did not play the full game. Kupp played 94. Henderson played 94. Woods only played 77%. So it was that type of game. Looking over at the defensive side of the ball, Taylor Rapp, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams, Jordan Fuller, and then you had Kenny Young at 69%, or rather 100%, playing all 69 snaps. Donald had 96%. Then you had Leonard Floyd at 83%. Sebastian Joseph Day at 75%. You had Justin Hollins having a huge game at 74%. David Long at 57%. You actually got 27 snaps out of Robert Rochelle, which was very impressive, playing 39% of snaps. Greg Gaines at 36%. Actually outsnapped A'Shawn Robinson, who's still limited. He did come back from that knee procedure. Wasn't expected to play initially, and then all of a sudden he only played 33%. Troy Reader played 28%. Terrell Lewis played 25%. You had Jonah Williams getting in there for 19%. Love to see that. Nick Scott played 14% of snaps on the defense. You had Michael Hoyt playing 13%. And Justin Lawler, the guy who was basically taken right off the practice squad, still on the practice squad, by the way. He was just elevated with the new rules, played 9% of snaps. So all in all, this is as good of a game as you're going to get to start off the season at home. The crowd was rocking. You could definitely tell that primetime atmosphere. This is a scary team, and you're either going to be ready for it or you're not. And I think at the end of the day is what we found out. The Bears were not ready for this. The Bears knew that the Rams were going to be tough. It's why they went for fourth down. It's why they tried to go that ballsy approach and tried to set the tone early on. But the fact of the matter is the Rams were the better team. They were better from top to bottom. And, Andy Dalton didn't have a bad game at all. I thought, he really played, within the game plan. The game plan just wasn't going to work. You're not going to beat the Rams. It's a good try. And we saw, the Raiders had an opportunity to do that against a Rams team back in 2018. They were really trying the dinking and dunking, the short passes to alleviate the pressure and, of course, stop Aaron Donald from getting there. But it didn't necessarily lead to a win in that game. And just like this game, it didn't really amount to much at all, only 14 points. Now, everyone is pretty much talking, as far as the Rams concern, everyone is talking about the run game. Everyone's talking about the run defense. And, before I get too far into that, I will just say that I think it's a little overblown. You look at the 41-yard run by David Montgomery, that, of course, inflated his stats. 16 carries for 108 yards, great, but he had the 41-yard run. So, you do the math, it's not all that great if you take away the 41-yard run. Now, it's still a play. It still happens, so you don't just take it away. But it's worth mentioning, I think the Rams really buckled down and stopped the run the rest of the game. So I think you got to give them credit with that. Andy Dalton, averaging 5.4 yards per attempt to, Matthew Stafford's 12.3 says a lot. You look at Darrell Henderson, people were saying, well, Darrell Henderson didn't look that great until the end. Maybe you're right, but also you have to keep this in mind. He ran 4.4 yards per carry. That's about pretty much as consistent as it gets. Henderson pretty much averaged that last season alone. So, all in all, I think it's definitely an exciting time to be a Rams fan. Coming into this game, obviously, I don't think any Rams fans thought the Bears were truly going to win. But at the same time, you just never know. Week one, we saw, Green Bay. I don't think any Green Bay fans went into that thinking they're going to lose to the Saints, let alone get blown out. But, here we are. So you have to play the games. And, I thought the Rams really just did a nice job, in all phases. And really showed you just, it's just the tip of the iceberg, really. I mean, the receiving game is just going to be so lethal. Matthew Stafford's deep ball translated. You talk about throwing 250-plus yard passes, which has only happened in a debut week one. I think once, going back to 1968, as the telecast said. So it says a lot, what they were able to do. You got some great contribution out of Justin Hollins, the guy that you basically claimed off of waivers last season, towards the beginning of week one. And, you were able to get a huge bunch of, contribution out of him. You're able to get, obviously, we've seen what Darius Williams has done as a guy that they claimed. The Rams will get talent any way they can get it. And, Kenny Young was a great example of that. And he was perfect because for what the Rams are, needing right now, they need cheap talent and they need control. And so I think, when you have a guy like Kenny Young, who molds into a go-to starting linebacker when they're playing a 5-1 front, and, you have Kenny Young as the only linebacker there, it shows the trust that the coaching staff has instilled in him. He had a tip pass that turned into a David Long pick, and then, of course, he recovered the fumble off the forced fumble from Justin Hollins. But this is somebody that has emerged, had 10 tackles. He had a pass breakup. He was definitely all over the field. And it says a lot. They got him in a throwaway deal for Marcus Peters. So, that says a lot. Kenny Young has emerged. You saw Taylor Rapp. He got 10 tackles. Jordan Fuller had 11. Jalen Ramsey, though, let's just address the elephant in the room here. Jalen Ramsey, it has just reached another level of football. I mean, he is just incredible. He had 9 tackles in this one, including 7 solo. He blew up multiple screens, had 2 tackle for loss, 1 pass breakup. It doesn't matter. If you're trying to take Jalen Ramsey out of the game, the Rams no longer care about him shutting down just one receiver. He's going to go all over the place in this kind of star role that Jordan Rodriguez mentioned pretty much all off season. And you saw it, and it's been, kind of joked around as a Where's Waldo approach because you just don't know where Ramsey's going to line up. I mean, he's lined up as an edge defender. He's lined up as a corner. He's lined up as a safety. He's lined up as a, defensive, a linebacker, defensive end. I mean, it's pretty crazy, honestly. And he was not afraid to stick his face in the fan and create contact. And he's got a lot of pop behind his pads. He's somebody that will throw you like he did Marquise Goodwin. He just set the tone. And I think the Rams really, thrived off that. I think he also thrived off of, just Van Jefferson's touchdown. You could see that got him, really hyped. But the defense, I think, really came through in that regard. You had Justin Hollins coming away with 8 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 strip sack. You had tackle for a loss, and then you had quarterback hit. Hollins was creating pressure off the edge, which is great to see because Leonard Floyd did not have his best game by any stretch. But, that's what it's all about. Your guys aren't all going to collectively have their best games, and when they don't, other guys need to step up, and I think the Rams did that, obviously, coming out with a 34-14 win. It does not matter that they played at home. To me, I just thought it was really incredible to see that. Obviously this bend don't break defense, it can be a little nerve-wracking, it can be a little annoying, especially, you love watching the Rams score. You love watching the Rams offense move the ball. But the fact is, when you're playing that style of defense, it's like getting paper cut 1,000 times or whatever. I forget who said it, but I've heard that term before. Because it really is. It just does not stop. They do not stop, and it's incredibly frustrating. But, hey, they came out with a 34-14 win. And, furthermore, I'll say this. I've said this before. Back when the Rams had Pharoh Cooper, they were averaging about the 30 to 31 yard line to start their offense because Pharoh Cooper was like the best returner at that point in the league. Now, the interesting thing is that the Rams were scoring so quickly that they only really came away with, 50-something plays. And, at the end of the day, you have 82 tackles, from this defense to 48 on Chicago. It really tells you a lot. And the Rams the defense was on the field the majority of the game. And while they did a really good job, I thought when you go back, you take away the 41-yard run at the beginning, they really settled down. But even so, I mean, you got to give them props for, being out there as long as they were making plays. And, shout out to, this coaching staff that was willing to, give Jonah Williams an opportunity, give Michael Hoyt opportunities, give Greg Gaines more reps than, say, Ashawn Robinson. And, I was definitely impressed seeing those guys step in and making plays. And, David Long as well. This was a huge game for Long to have 2 pass breakups, a huge interception that probably saves a score on that drive and 5 tackles. This is somebody that played behind Darius Williams, Jalen Ramsey, all those guys. And, even Marcus Peters for a minute. I mean, it's not been easy for him, but they stuck with him. I wasn't as high on him, but I'm glad, he's able to really ball out in his debut 2021 game. But, we'll see. I was surprised to not see Terrell Burgess. That's something to monitor. Thought it was going to be more of the 3 safety. I thought Burgess was going to get those nickel looks. Was really shocked to not see him at all. He did not generate 1 snap on the defense. But, I guess that's just the way it worked out. So, yeah, as far as this goes, it's 34-14. Chicago definitely, I don't think, is as bad of a team as the Rams made them look. I think this is going to be a completely different team as the season goes on. You look at Justin Fields, who's probably going to start at some point. David Montgomery can also run the football. And the Rams, just give him credit. Allen Robinson had 11 targets, led the team, and he only came down with 6 of them for 35 yards. That's one of the lowest totals for them average-wise, 5.8 yards per catch, including the longest being a 9-yard catch. Allen Robinson's a phenomenal receiver, but they really shut him down. Cole Kmet got his touches there. Marquise Goodwin, Damian Williams, but aside from that, the Rams really kept them in check. So, credit to Raheem Morris in his first game as the Rams defensive coordinator. Showed some more aggressiveness than Staley did, I think. Blitzing Jalen Ramsey. You saw a couple of those moments where Ramsey just went one-on-one with a receiver, went one-on-one with even he knocked down an offensive lineman. I mean, he was just ruthless, just tearing through the bunch formation, and he just was awesome in this game. So, really all in all, there's a lot to take away, a lot to like. But I do want to isolate as far as, what I'm going to talk about here to the second half of this podcast as we go into a commercial break momentarily. I want to isolate the offensive line, and mainly I want to isolate Brian Allen. I'm going to discuss that right after the break. Life is back on, sports bettors, and BetUS has your NBA, NHL, UFC, PGA, and yes, NFL betting lines up on their 27th year and live betting on all of it. Log into BetUS, that is BETUS.com, or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BETUS. BetUS for 125% bonuses with promo code RAMS125. Customer service pros are ready to get your phone, social, and online sports betting kickoff started now. Play with the proven mainstay in the industry, BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Look no further than the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. That has just taken off in not only the USA, but Canada, the UK, across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system in. First scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, this spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even your anus. This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. Thanks to our advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor and a new multifunction on and off switch that can engage a travel lock and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up the top of your nose and your ears. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Don't forget about the crop preserver, ball deodorant, and the crop reviver to help your little planets be on their A-game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls, Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped. All right, so I'm back out of the break. Now it's time to talk about Brian Allen. Look, I've watched every Brian Allen snap 3 times over. He went up against, a serious defensive line. And here's the thing, they could have been even more dangerous not having, of course, missing out on Eddie Goldman was huge. He's a big part of their defensive line. He is the nose tackle, all of that. But what he was able to do against Bilal Nichols and mainly Akeem Hicks was very impressive. And getting to the second level, let's just talk about it for a sec. Brian Allen, the Rams might have a legit center. And anybody that knows me and has been following me for a while, they know during the draft which Brian Allen was selected, I hated the pick. I had him as a 7th round grade. I thought he was too small. I didn't think, he moved that well. I thought he got pushed around like crazy. But pretty much all of my concerns were kind of alleviated. So he comes off 2020 in which he's hurt the entire year and deals with COVID. And 2019, he got hurt the middle of 2019, his first year as a starter. So he's had a rough go. And, 2021 comes along and he's not the starter. It's Austin Corbett at center. We're all hearing about it. I thought that they would give him a shot, but lo and behold, it was going to be Austin Corbett coming out of minicamp. But hold on a second. They come out with this unofficial depth chart that shows Brian Allen is the starter at center. Brian Allen had taken over. Bobby Evans had moved to the bench, and Corbett was kicking over to right guard. Now, initially, I was like, Brian Allen, but then I thought about it. I'm like, this makes a lot of sense because you invested a 4th-round pick on this guy. It's best to see what you have in him. He's been through the ringer, and he had some flashes of brilliance in 2019, albeit it wasn't a ton, but it was enough to be like, okay, I'll see how this guy develops. And to be fair, we haven't seen him. He's worked with Aaron Kromer, who's one of the best offensive line minds in the game. And then, of course, now he's with Carberry. And it was like we hadn't really gotten a chance to see, how much he's developed since, because it's been since 2019, the middle of the season, when he got hurt. So you look at that and you're like, okay, well, let's see what he can do. And sure enough, he kind of proved himself, I thought, on Sunday night. Now, we need to see it consistently. We need to see more of it. But all in all, all the coach speak, so to speak, I don't think you could really say it's coach speak. I think they're genuinely, they genuinely believe that, Brian Allen is the best option. That's why they're trying him out there. It has less to do about Bobby Evans struggling. I think they truly believe in Brian Allen. And furthermore, they said Brian Allen looked bigger. He had more confidence. I saw that. On Sunday. He looked way more in control. He looked like he had way more confidence. He was a bully. He had a little bit of a mean streak to him. Now, when you're playing up against Akeem Hicks, who's one of the best interior defensive linemen in all of football, it's a little ridiculous to say he was bullying Akeem Hicks. But he did have his moments, and when he was bullying guys, it was mainly Bilal Nichols, who he was absolutely driving with his legs, just driving him backwards. Love to see it. Saw all the snaps. As I said, my video is on YouTube if you want to go check them out. I go through them in detail and all of that. But, I think all the Rams could ask for is mediocrity, or, a little bit above mediocrity with Brian Allen. They're not asking him to be a superstar. They're not asking him to be a Pro Bowler. Like, if he is average, that is good enough with what you have. But the fact that he had a good game leads me to believe, especially against Akeem Hicks. Now, Hicks, and I said this in my video, and I can't stress this enough. So many times with fans will we sit there and say this offensive lineman is terrible because he gives up, a sack or gives up 3 pressures. But when you're going up against a Khalil Mack or an Akeem Hicks or somebody like that, they're going to eat. You need to realize that. You're not going to neutralize them entirely. So that's the thing. And so when I watched that game, and I watched it over and over again, and all those snaps, I noticed something. Akeem Hicks got his moments, right? He, of course, is going to eat. He's one of the best interior defensive line in the league, like I said. However, more often than not, it was Brian Allen either holding his own or dominating the rep. And so I was really impressed. I came away, his biggest issue has never been run blocking. Okay, he was 4th, by the way, in run blocking win rate, according to ESPN Advanced Stats. 4th this week, so keep that in mind. Run blocking has never been his issue, though, so also keep that in mind. His issue is in pass protection. And you did see, of course, those lapses. You did see a hold, which I would say is it's debatable. I think it was kind of a weird situation. They're both falling in a weird way. I don't know if it was necessarily a hold, but whatever. But furthermore, you saw this guy, he had the will to actually fight in pass pro. You saw improvement from the last time he was on the field. I think there's a lot of good to like about Brian Allen's performance on Sunday night, and there's a lot of good because, while I've been raving about Justin Hollins on Twitter, he had the second fastest sack time recorded on Next Gen Stats. Only faster was Chandler Jones, one of his 5, which was ridiculous over what he did in Arizona. But, I think the thing here is that while I really liked what Justin Hollins did, going back and watching the tape, and I'll be having this video out soon, the tape shows me that obviously he had a really good game, but at the same time, he was playing against Jason Peters, who they literally said during the broadcast just stopped fishing one day and, decided to sign. He got a call and he signed with the Bears. So he's not in game shape right now. He's really not. It was at the end of training camp. He was a late signing, all of that. So there's that to keep in mind. But furthermore, he got hurt. And then Wilkinson came in, their 3rd stringer. So that's definitely something that I have to give. You have to take it with a grain of salt in a sense, not to take anything away from Hollins, but it's not like Allen where we saw him succeed for the most part against top-notch competition at their level. Akeem Hicks is in football condition. Bilal Nichols is in football condition. And furthermore, Brian Allen, he's getting better as a pass protector, which is great, but he's also still maintaining or getting better as a run blocker. And you saw that. You saw that his confidence to get to the second level, combo block. He blocked 3 guys on the Darrell Henderson touchdown run. It was my favorite play of the game for Brian Allen because, he helps Corbett hit the one guy right in front, hits him, then sees 2 guys, he peels them off, and Henderson is able to basically scrap his way in the end zone. But it was such a nice job by him. And then, of course, you get the run. The run that went for a first down, it was actually a really cool play call. It looked like it was going to be an end around or something like that, but then all of a sudden Robert Woods goes in to the backfield and lines up next to Stafford in the shotgun, and he takes the handoff and takes it for 7 yards and a first down. On that play, you can see Bilal Nichols being driven completely out of harm's way. And, Robert Woods reads it like a running back. He's looking off the tackle. He's basically going off, do I need to go to the outside? Do I need to bounce this to the outside, or could I cut inside? And he sees Allen absolutely shove, Bilal Nichols out of the way. And he ends up getting the outside afterwards, but, that's made possible because of Allen. He gets the first down because of it. So there were a lot of those plays where Allen was constantly looking to block somebody downfield. You do love to see that wherewithal, but more so, it's also a motor thing. And so to see Allen as a willing blocker, constantly looking for contact, constantly looking to try and set up a big run, that was really impressive. The whole team blocked extremely well on Henderson's biggest run of the night, the 15-yarder that put them right in the red zone. That eventually ended in a Robert Woods touchdown, which was one of the best catches you'll see. And that one, I mean, the C's parted, sure. You got to give everyone credit. They made that happen. Henderson, of course, immediately just seeing that hole and popping through, no sort of hesitation. I thought he had a good game. But, Brian Allen definitely deserves some credit. The offensive line was good. I think there are times, obviously, the sack you can go back to. There were people telling me, well, it wasn't a coverage sack. They had a guy and Stafford missed him or whatever. I disagree. I think it was a coverage sack. I think could Stafford have fit that into a tight window? Yes, but I also think he was trying to keep it safe. I think Sean McVay probably told him to keep it safe. You're that close. You're backed up against the end zone. The last thing you want to do is turn the ball over or turn it into a safety, get them right back in the game. So I think that was really the point there. Allen got burned pretty badly 3 or 4 times. But when you look at all those snaps he took, 3 or 4 times I'll take. I won't take 10. I won't take 20. I definitely won't take 30. And that was not the case. Allen was really good, I thought, and deserves some more credit. And I don't think he got that from PFF. I can tell you Justin Hollins did, but I don't think he got that from PFF. So that was my my final thoughts on Brian Allen. Stick with him next week. He's got a tough task again against DeForest Buckner. Going to be fun to watch it though. It's a great matchup. It's a great opportunity. Like I was saying, if you caught me on JE Live or you caught me on a podcast or you caught me on, guesting, another Bears podcast or something, like I kept saying, basically what it comes down to is this. If Brian Allen, he has a 2-game tryout, so to speak, the Rams could pull him at any point. If Brian Allen comes out and balls out against Akeem Hicks, which I wouldn't say he balled out because Akeem Hicks did get his, but I thought he played very good. And if he plays very good against Akeem Hicks and then comes back week 2, going up against DeForest Buckner, who is one of the best tackles in football, defensive tackles, that will pretty much, I don't need to see any more. And by need to, I want to see more because that would be fun to watch. But I don't need to see any more. I feel confident that he's the guy. You don't get 2 fluky games against top-notch competition. If he, and I would say he won the majority of the time against Hicks. If he beat Hicks and, schooled Bilal Nichols, if he shuts down DeForest Buckner, if, say, Buckner gets in there for a sack or gets 2 pressures or he has another game where he has 3 or 4 bad reps, out of 52 or 60 or whatever, how many snaps, I'll take that. And again, that will be a win, and it will show me, this guy isn't Corey Linsley, this guy isn't Frank Ragnow, this guy isn't J.C. Treader, he's not one of the top centers in the league, but he doesn't need to be. And if he's better than average, the Rams have a good one that they're going to need to hold on to. And I think he's going to be relatively cheap. I believe he is entering a contract year, so the Rams are going to have to figure that out. But Brian Allen, everybody, shout out to him. I know he got a game ball because of it. Sean McVay noticed. But, at the Rams, the 2 biggest concerns I had were center, nickel, and, outside linebacker, I would say. And all 3 of them balled out. David Long, best career game. Brian Allen, best career game. And Justin Hollins, best career game. So, a lot of good stuff all around. But that's going to do it for me. You can follow Alexis at the Alexis Craft. I'm sure she would still appreciate a follow. She does a lot of work on here. She couldn't make it this time, but she'll be back next time when we have Zach Hicks on to preview the Rams and Colts game. But you could also follow me at JK Bogan. And if you like the Rams, I always say, my channel is about 85% Rams content. If you like the Rams, you can go over to my YouTube channel, Jake Ellenbogen. That's just my name. And you can find a whole bunch of stuff. I did a video on my top 10, the Bogan 10, basically power ranking the top 10 teams in the league right now. I did a video on Stafford. I did a video on Jacob Harris. I did a video on Brian Allen. We'll have one on Justin Hollins. We'll continue to pump out content on both Downtown Rams and my channel, so be sure to check that out. But that's going to do it for me. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Later. Bet with the 3-decade leader, BetUS. Join now for 125% bonus or 200% bonus with crypto using promo code RAMS125. And bet sports, casino, horses, pop culture, and more at betus.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DTR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and make sure to use code DTR. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.